Listen Up Wiltshire, Issue 8, Spring 2023. Messages for Wiltshire, written and produced by disabled people. Inside this issue, The Pioneers, Remembering Judy Human, The Inclusion Conundrum, Wheels of Independence, Prescription Prepayment Certificates, Growing Up Dyslexic, Disabled Students Allowance, Disability Interest Group of Salisbury, Listen Up recommends the Oracle Code. The Pioneers. It's 2023 and this year we are shaking things up. Listen Up Wiltshire are launching a new campaign and it's a big one. At Listen Up Wiltshire, we believe that disabled people should be at the heart of developing and designing services that support you to live your life well. Over the past 5 years, we've fought for disabled voices to be heard throughout our communities. We've seen some fantastic changes for our campaigns, our knowledge cafes, our regular groups and our big consultations. And whilst good progress has been made, we believe that Wiltshire can do better. And we need your help to make this happen. Introducing the Pioneers. The Pioneers is a brand new network of disabled people from across the county, sharing our views and expertise to help develop and design the services we use to live our lives well. To become a pioneer, you simply need to be aged 12 and over and have lived experience of disability, autism and or mental health conditions. So what does being a pioneer mean? 1. You tell us what topics interest you, from housing to healthcare, employment to education, care to communities. 2. We will contact you when we're running projects on any of the topics that you have an interest in. It's completely up to you how much or little you get involved with. 3. You decide how to get involved, joining discussion groups, taking part in online events, filling out surveys, chatting by phone or text. Choose a way that works for you. It's as simple as that. We are living in a time of change and this is your opportunity to have an influence over those changes for good. Let's make Wiltshire a place that is designed by and works for disabled people. This is our time. Join the disability revolution, making our voices heard across Wiltshire. Who can join? The Pioneers is open to people aged 12 plus who have lived experience of disability, autism and or mental health conditions. Pioneers aged between 12 to 25 will be invited to specific young pioneer events, calling young people to join together to make a brighter future. Not sure if it's right for you? One of the biggest priorities of the Wiltshire Vision is to ensure the voices heard are representative of the people in our communities. We want those who are often overlooked and underrepresented to have the opportunity to have a meaningful voice. If you think that this is somewhere you don't belong, then you are exactly who we need. To find out more about becoming a pioneer, email us at getinvolved@wiltshiresil.org.uk or phone us on 0300 1233 442. Remembering Judy Human. Judy Human, a leading disability rights campaigner and advocate, died on the 5th of March 2023 in Washington, USA. Hailed as the mother of disability rights movement, in her 75 years of life, Judy influenced the lives of disabled people from across the world. Whilst her death is an incredible loss for the global disability community, her fierce legacy will live on. Contracting polio at the age of 2, Judy was a quadriplegic and wheelchair user for most of her life. As a child, she was denied the right to access school because she was considered to be a fire hazard. Her mother fought this ruling and eventually Judy was able to attend a specialist school and public high school. In the 1970s, after graduating from university, Judy battled the new Board of Education when they refused to give her a teaching licence because of her disability. She successfully sued them and became the first teacher in New York who used a wheelchair. This was only the beginning of Judy's activism and campaigning. Over the next few years, she became a pivotal part in the fight for disability rights in the United States. Part of this campaigning involved leading a 28-day sit-in at a federal building in San Francisco, calling for the reinforcement of Section 504. Section 504 was the first federal civil rights protection for people with disabilities, and despite being introduced in 1973, it wasn't until the protests in 1977 that the law became enforced. Human was also a key part in the founding of the Berkeley Center for Independent Living and helped to launch the independent living movement globally. In 1983, Judy co-founded one of the first global disability rights organisations, the World Institute on Disability. In 1993 to 2001, she worked under the Clinton administration as the Assistant Secretary of the Office of Special Education. From 2002 to 2006, she joined the World Bank as the first advisor on disability and development, and in 2010, Human became the first ever special advisor on disability rights for the US state. But Judy's impact goes far beyond her list of achievements. Her tenacity and passion has inspired countless numbers of disabled people around the world to fight for disability rights. What started out as campaigning for the right to education led to a movement which has changed disabled lives around the world. In 2020, Judy starred in a Netflix documentary, Crip Camp, which tells the story of the Section 504 sit-ins and the journey some of the individuals involved took to get there. She also published 2 memoirs, Being Human and Rolling Warrior. If you would like to learn more about the life and works of Judy Human, checking out these resources is a great place to start. In Judy's own words, extracts taken from her memoir, Being Human, and speeches given throughout her life. Disability only becomes a tragedy when society fails to provide the things we need to live our lives. When other people see you as a third-class citizen, the first thing you need is a belief in yourself and the knowledge that you have rights. The next thing you need is a group of friends to fight back with. The truth is, the status quo loves to say no. It's the easiest thing in the world to say no, especially in the world of business and finance. But for the first time, we were discussing civil rights, and no other civil rights issue has ever been questioned because of the cost. Change never happens at the pace we think it should. It happens over years of people joining together, strategizing, sharing and pulling all the levers they possibly can. Gradually, excruciatingly slowly, things will start to happen, and then suddenly, seemingly out of the blue, something will tip. I want to see feisty disabled people change the world. Some people say what I did changed the world, but really I simply refused to accept what I was being told about who I could be, and I was willing to make a fuss about it. Judy Human, 12th the 8th 47 to 3rd the 4th 23. The Inclusion Conundrum. During October and November 2022, England hosted the Rugby League World Cup. The tournament included the competition for the Men's, Women's and Wheelchair World Cups. This is the first time that Wheelchair Rugby League has been included as part of the main event. Wheelchair Rugby League is often dubbed to be the most inclusive and accessible sport. Unlike many para-sports, it is not exclusively played by disabled people. Instead, non-disabled people are able to compete at both club and international level. Is this barrier-free inclusion progressive or damaging for disabled sport? We're going to explore some of the arguments for and against total inclusion, as well as breaking down some of the actions from the Wheelchair Rugby League World Cup. But first, let's get back to basics. What is Wheelchair Rugby League? The game is played on an indoor court. 2 teams, each made up of 5 players, compete against each other to score tries. Tackles are made by pulling tags from your opponent's shirt. Conversions can be made by kicking, via a volleyball-style punch, the ball over the rugby post from a tee. Like the running game, each match lasts 80 minutes. What happened at the Wheelchair Rugby League World Cup? 8 nations took part in the tournament: England, Australia, Spain, Ireland, France, Wales, USA and Scotland. The reigning champions, France, sailed through the group stages and after beating Australia in the semi-finals secured their place in the finals. England also topped their group and won their semi-final, beating Wales by 125 to 22. Both France and England played a ferocious game in the final. France played with experience and expertise, and the England team brought an injection of youth and energy. It was a nail-biting game with almost nothing separating the two sides. But an incredible try by captain Tom Halliwell in the final minutes saw England soar to victory, beating France 28 to 24. How can I get involved in Wheelchair Rugby League? There are 24 Wheelchair Rugby League clubs around the UK. You can find the nearest club to you by visiting www.rugbyleague.com/competitions Pro National Wheelchair-Rugby-League. Wiltshire's local club is Swindon St George's. As mentioned, the Wheelchair Rugby League is one of the only sports where disabled and non-disabled people compete together at both club and international level. But should this be allowed? This is a hotly debated topic both within the sporting and disability communities. We've broken down some of the key arguments for and against. 4. Level playing field. When all players are using a wheelchair, it creates a level playing field between disabled and non-disabled players. It increases support. By opening up the sport to more people, you'll create a wider fan base. This will help the sport develop both financially and in popularity. Cultivates inclusion. By removing the separation of disabled and non-disabled players on the pitch, it cultivates an environment of inclusion and equality outside of the game too. Adaptable. There are specific rules which can be adapted within the game to ensure equality amongst all players. For example, if a player does not have full trunk control, they are able to tap the ball on the wheel rather than on the floor when scoring or starting play. Connecting families. Particularly at club level, inclusion of all people means that disabled and non-disabled siblings and friends can play a sport together, potentially for the first time. Against. Takes away opportunity. Parasport has significantly less funding and opportunities to compete than non-disabled sports. By allowing non-disabled athletes, you are taking away the opportunity for a disabled person to participate in sport. Not a level playing field. Whilst all players use a wheelchair on the court, disabled players may still be at a disadvantage due to factors like pain or increased fatigue, which non-disabled players may not experience to the same degree. Paralympic incompatibility. By including non-disabled players, wheelchair rugby league will be unable to be included at the Paralympics in the future, which may stunt the growth of the sport. Risk of violent play. Particularly at an elite level, players can be involved in violent collisions. French coach Kuzmanovic said, "There's an element of the tournament that's almost been focused on able-bodied play, and there's an element that we shouldn't really be utilising the same force when we've got disabled athletes taking part in the sport. My concern is that if a disabled person comes along, they might say it's not a sport for them, given the violence and some of the collisions they will witness." Wheels of Independence, sharing my story. Writing a book had been a lifelong dream for Suze, a member of our campaigning group Speak Up. In October 2022, this dream became reality when she published her debut book, Wheels of Independence. Suze wrote her book alongside her sister Rosie. Born with cerebral palsy, Wheels of Independence takes the reader through Suze's incredible life so far. From living abroad and travelling as a child, to navigating school and discovering independence, Suze takes you on a fascinating tour of her life. But beyond each experience she shares, it is Suze's character and personality that shines. Strong-willed and fierce, yet compassionate and thoughtful. It is a delight to get to know Suze a little more on each turn of the page. I've always been stubborn. You've got to have a certain amount of stubbornness to do things, but it's a good type of stubbornness. During some of the most difficult times of her life, Suze found refuge and strength in writing poetry. She shares snippets of this poetry throughout her book, offering another lens through which to understand more about her life. All profits from Wheels of Independence go towards Salisbury Hospice, a place very special to Suze. So far we've managed to raise £173, which is just amazing. Suze's book can be purchased from Amazon. Just search for Wheels of Independence. Prescription prepayment certificates. More than 1 million people in England are missing out on saving on prescription charges. If you collect one or more prescriptions a month regularly, then you may be able to save money by purchasing a prepayment certificate. A 12-month prepayment prescription certificate will cost you £108.10. A 3-month prepayment prescription certificate will cost you £30.25. Without a certificate, each prescription item is charged at £9.35. If you have more than 12 prescription items per year, you could save money with a certificate. For example, if you need 2 items each month, you could save £116.30 with a 12-month certificate. How do you buy a prepayment certificate? You can buy them online or over the phone on 0300 330 1341 or at many pharmacies. You can choose to buy a certificate that covers your prescription charges for 12 months or for 3 months. The 12-month certificate can be paid for by direct debit over multiple instalments. Once you have a prepayment certificate, simply tell the pharmacist when you pick up your prescription. For the duration of your certificate, you will not need to pay additional charges for your prescription. Can I get free prescriptions? Before you buy a prepayment certificate, check out if you're entitled to free prescriptions. The NHS has an online tool to help you check. www.nhs.nhs/NHS-prescriptions. Many people qualify for free prescriptions, including if you're age 60 or over, are under 16, 16 to 18 in full-time education, are 12 months postpartum or pregnant, have an eligible medical condition, or are in receipt of particular benefits.
Hello, my name is Rachel and I am new to Wiltshire, working with our upcoming Pioneers project. I love spending time with my friends and family, as well as walking my dogs. I also enjoy anything creative, including sewing, drawing, painting when I can. Like an estimated 1 in 10 people in the UK, I have dyslexia, affecting my spelling, working speed and short-term memory. This can make random daily tasks more difficult, struggling from anything from remembering people's names to reading the word zucchini out loud. Most importantly, my learning difficulty makes me resilient, empathetic and a creative thinker, giving me the skills to work here at Wiltshire. This wouldn't have been possible without getting the right support. Every school in the UK has a special educational needs coordinator, also called a SENCO. They are critical in supporting disabled children in their learning. By sharing my story, I want to show what a good SENCO in education can look like. Often, I have felt like a fraud, guilty of doing well with my learning difficulty or struggling when others don't. Whilst I have always loved talking and making up stories, starting primary school I saw me fall behind my classmates. Like many schools at the time, my school was unwilling to give me a dyslexia assessment, lacking the funding or resources needed for in-class SEND support. This put me at the mercy of my teachers, doing well or poorly depending on their acknowledgement of my disability. Specifically, my Year 2 teacher was often cold and discouraging, making me feel lazy or stupid for making the same mistakes. Luckily, other teachers were much more encouraging, though there was still a lot for me to catch up on. Arriving at secondary school, I finally got the support I needed, going to the SENCO to work on my spanning an hour a week until the end of Year 9. Whilst I hated missing art lessons, this helped me exponentially, seeing my grades and reading age shoot up within months of attending the school. At 14, I was diagnosed as dyslexic by my school's SENCO department, recommending I go for a private assessment as evidence for exam support. This provided me with 25% extra time in my GCSEs and A-levels, levelling the playing field so that I, like other students, had time to get my thoughts onto paper. In 2018, my support and hard work paid off, earning me a place at the University of Exeter studying sociology. Here I applied for Disability Support Allowance, DSA, alongside my student loan, receiving free technical and financial support. This included a discounted laptop and access to free spelling and dictation software, making my workload much more manageable. The university also co-produced an individual learning plan, ILP, extending the coursework deadlines during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. Looking back, I have been lucky to have been given opportunities to succeed throughout my education. Presuming my dad was dyslexic, my parents were quick to give me the support that I needed, paying for SENCO tutors aged 7, a touch typing course at 16 and pushing for my diagnostic assessment. I was also lucky to receive the right support for my needs, a luxury often made more difficult for those with additional learning difficulties or disabilities. In turn, my achievements do not undermine the struggles I and other dyslexic people face. At points, dyslexia can be frustrating and exhausting, writing a sentence over and over again or gibberish to fix before my thought has even gone. Ultimately, dyslexia is an impairment that deserves recognition at an early age. Whilst time, funding and enthusiasm are needed, this should be a given in education, regardless of a person's circumstances. Remember, you are intelligent, creative, understanding and resourceful, regardless of your reading or spelling age. With the right information and support, you can achieve almost anything, and we are here to help make that happen. What is Disabled Students Allowance? Disabled Students Allowance, also called DSA, is a grant to support disabled people above the age of 16 who are in education. This is not means tested and does not impact your student finance. Who can apply for DSA? You can apply for DSA if you live in England and have a disability that affects your ability to study. This includes, but is not limited to, learning difficulty, e.g. dyslexia, ADHD, mental health condition, e.g. anxiety or depression, physical disability and long-term health conditions. How can DSA help? The DSA can support you with a range of ways, including supplying equipment such as desk chairs, keyboards and voice recorders, financial support towards purchasing a laptop, use of software including speech-to-text software, payment for non-medical helper, e.g. note-taker, BSL interpreter, etc., expenses for disability-related travel.
Calibre Audio. Calibre Audio is a free audiobook service for disabled people. It's free to sign up to for people with eligible impairments. Once you've signed up online, you'll be able to access the Calibre library of audiobooks, which contains over 14,500 books, including 3,000 audiobooks specifically for children and young people. The audiobooks are available via streaming, downloads, or posted to you on a memory stick. Find out more at www.calibreaudio.org.uk. Rail campaign update. In the autumn 2022 edition of Listen Up Wiltshire, we shared with you the #NotJustTheTicket campaign led by Transport for All. It fights against the government's proposal to close ticket offices in UK train stations, arguing that they are essential in making train travel accessible for disabled people. The National Federation of the Blind of the UK, NFB UK, have also launched a campaign calling the government to review these plans. They are specifically calling for all ticket offices to remain open and all manned stations to remain staffed, for all trains to have guards, also known as train managers or conductors, at all times, for unmanned stations to become staffed at all times. The National Federation of the Blind in the UK delivered a petition to the Secretary of State for Transport in December 2022, signed by 87 supporting organisations. Since delivering the petition, even more organisations have signed up their support. I travel by train independently, but I don't think I would have the confidence to do so if it wasn't for the train managers on the train. Even when I pre-book assistance, I frequently arrive at a station and find no one there to help me. The train manager is crucial in supporting me to get on and off the train at the correct stops. To remove them would be to remove my ability to travel by train. Disability Interest Group of Salisbury. Don't wait for change, be the change. If you live in or near Salisbury, then be sure to check out the Disability Interest Group of Salisbury, also known as DIGS. They're a group which meet monthly to tackle inaccessibility in the local area. You can also stay up to date with their work by following their Facebook page, Disability Interest Group of Salisbury, DIGS. Listen Up recommends The Oracle Code. Why can't disabled people be the superheroes? The Oracle Code is a graphic novel written by Mariek Niekamp and illustrated by Manuel Paciano. It follows the recently paralysed Barbara Gordon as she learns to navigate her new life. But in her rehabilitation centre, not all is as it seems, and Barbara soon finds herself unravelling a chain of mysteries. The Oracle Code is a refreshing take of a disabled protagonist. Whilst disability is a central part of the narrative, it is not all-encompassing. It paints a beautiful picture. Disability might affect everything you do, but it isn't everything you are. Here's a quote from the Oracle Code. The truth is, no matter what anyone led you to believe, life on wheels isn't any worse or better than life on both feet, or one foot, or crutches. It's what you make of it.